Okay, you know the drill. This is for you, Scorpio. This is Tarot Lumination with your singles mini love and relationship report for the late October, November season, let's just call it. Okay, so you know the drill. Like we said, watch for your sun, moon, and rising. Squish it all together. Rewrite the whole story to suit yourself. And also with this setup here, I would invite you to stop, start, pause, rewind as you need in order to integrate the questions here into the reading itself. So I don't take up huge amounts of your time on the video, okay? So cards are already well shuffled in advance, but we're just going to the last second. So you're a witness, no jumpers, no flyers, no oracles, no reversals, just very basic stuff here, okay? So let's make the best of it. And for you, Scorpio, in this season, we are now ready to cut. Here we go. Let's do this. Okay, let's do that. And then that. That was funny. Okay, so this would be your energy radiating. What is that? This would be the potential what if someone else would show up. Look at that card. It doesn't want to. Anyway, never mind. I got all excited there. What would they be radiating if only? And what would be the nature of this relationship? Let's just say if it happens. And what would the prospects going forward here? That's how this all works. We're going to look at this card in a moment. This would be kind of like, let's say, prevailing conditions for you single Scorpios. And of course, like all smart people, you're going to make the best of the weather. All right. So you have the King of Swords. So you might be in a situation right now, Scorpio, where either you are either being encouraged to hold the posture of authority and truth and honor and dignity and respect and honesty, no matter what. Okay? And that might be very, very hard to do. It's not exactly a position that everybody would crave, like having to be the adjudicator, having to be the one who is sought out for advice and understanding, but also someone who has to call out and defend anything that is a threat to the truth and honesty. So that's a heavy condition under which to live for this time period, Scorpio. So I hope you can handle it. This is not going to own you, okay? This is not going to hurt you or take you down in any way. It's just that it's a lot to handle. It's a heavy crown to wear going through this period, okay? So others might be trusting you and needing your support when it comes to these issues of absolute trust, integrity, and honesty. And the circumstances, and the environment, and the conditions are also indicating that it's important that you maintain this level of integrity yourself. Okay. So what about you? What are you radiating right now? Well, obviously it's not so bad. Somewhere deep, deep down, you're celebrating the love that you have already. That's what I feel here for you, Scorpio. So somewhere, it's almost like you own something, you have something that's very beautiful, and it is actually made of love. The raw ingredients are love. And guess what? That's kind of all you need. Have you heard that song? Never mind. So it's at the point where like you are poised and ready to share and celebrate that love. Let's just say if it would just happen to show up. So let's just say there's not too much bogging you down right now in that regard, because maybe you've already done a lot of homework on yourself recently and you've come out the other side and you're just being who you are right now. Maybe you're just in a really good space right now where you're literally full of love and you're eager to share that. I want to share the love, man. This is you, Scorpio. I just want to share the love. Thank you very much. So that could be very, very attractive to others. That could make you very, very appealing to others if you're like literally radiating so much love that you kind of don't know what to do with it, but you want to celebrate it, toast it, and like share it with your buddies. That's a beautiful thing, you know. This could just be your buddies, but that can actually radiate outside of you, where you could become like a, you know, a pulsing like magnet, where you can attract the kind of love that you deserve, that you need as well. Okay, but just don't forget that this is around you right now. So, you know, as much as this might be sweet and kind of naive and innocent and very well intended here, there are, let's say, prevailing conditions that are, let's say, how are we going to put this, guiding you to stay very true and very honorable no matter what. So who or what would, you know, what would you attract? Who would they be? What kind of energy would they radiate? Okay, someone who is really struggling to figure out what they have to do in order to, let's say, survive and make things happen in a way that they're hoping they can get it to work in ways that work for them, so to speak, perhaps in ways that are actually clashing with your degree of integrity that you are being bound to hold. And so you might actually attract someone who is really kind of perhaps behaving in ways that are not acceptable or desirable in a relationship, but they can't help themselves. It's just how things are happening for them right now. And they don't know what to do. They don't know where to go. They're just trying to get by using their wits, just trying to figure things out and trying to be smart about it. It's almost like sometimes with the Seven of Swords, it can indicate someone who is having to work at the highest levels of intelligence just to get through, just to get by, and hoping that they don't like trip up over themselves or hurt other people in the process, because it's a very, very, very tricky situation that the other person might be in right now, especially if you're radiating this kind of energy to the point where you might be attracting someone who is used to getting away with all sorts of mischief in a very sweet, innocent way. But in this potential relationship situation, they might not be able to get away with that much longer, because they're going to be, like, say, called out. And that could be, I mean, you might be just finding yourself how you are with you, Scorpio, but it just might be that their love energy is very, very, like, almost unstable right now. They don't know what to do with it. They're trying to like salvage what they've got, get away with what they can, and just hope that that works. So let's see what's going on here. Let's look at the relationship dynamic itself, given what we've just described here. So these are very like contradictory energies, except that we're on the same frequencies here. So you might be relating or potentially attracting someone who is like not playing by the rules, so to speak, the rules of integrity, which makes it puts you in a very awkward position, because you just want things to be simple and sweet and fun, and then you might be in a circumstance where you have to exercise your authority and your and to maintain your dignity, and that could be very uncomfortable in a loving situation where you may not want that, but that's kind of what's happening, what you could be attracting. So just be very alert, Scorpio. Maintain your integrity, because we're dealing with a potential someone here who may be unstable in certain ways, and they might need help. They might really, really, really need your guidance, your authority, your, let's say, your, what's the word? You know, when your counsel, okay, your advice, your counsel. All right. So, in other words, don't be too judgmental or harsh on the other party, Scorpio, because you know how you can get. You're a sign of absolutes. So if you're in a situation where you want absolutely the best that you can share, but you're attracting a potential mate who is struggling to get through just with who they are and what they've got, that can put you on high alert in a way that you'd rather not, because it's much more fun to be like this instead of having to be like this, especially in a relationship. So where does that, what about the what ifs? What would the nature of this relationship be if something like this were starting to manifest? So this is very reassuring. This is very stabilizing. What I feel for you, Scorpio, is that in this potential relationship dynamic, you could have an opportunity to really, let's just say, really shine in a way that works for you and works for the other, because you might be dealing with a significant other here who might show up in your world who actually really needs someone like you, Scorpio, someone who is there for you, there for someone like you who is there for a potential other who is struggling to figure out what to do and how to be in their own love and relationship dynamics themselves, to the point where you're actually very, very, very good news for this potential other, because you are maintaining your authority and dignity and integrity when it comes to truth and honesty and the law, so to speak, like the laws of nature, the laws of attraction, the laws of karma, and you are holding to that, even though you might not want to, because these are two very contradictory energies here that are happening right now. And yet, it puts you in a relationship dynamic where the whole relationship itself could be very bountiful, very, let's just say, rewarding, satisfying for yourself and the other, because of your willingness to maintain your dignity and authority and your truth and honesty, no matter what. Because it's very, very hard to have a happy, loving, healthy relationship when there is lack of honesty, lack of truth. So by maintaining the integrity and the truth, that creates tremendous sense of wealth and stability in the relationship itself that might not have ever existed before between yourself and another party, except in a way that's happening right now. But it's happening in a very strange way, because you are being called out, Scorpio, to be this person of integrity, this person, this rock, this person of granite, this person of substance, of irrefutable, loving reliability and stability, which, oddly enough, it's like such an odd couple situation, but it seems to be indicated here that this could be really rewarding and good for you and good for the other. Where does that take things, though? Let's have a little look over here. Hold on, I want to get back to this. We'll come back to this in a minute. Sorry, let's have a look. So that puts you in a situation where, let's say there's a possible binding here. Now, I don't want to scare you, Scorpio, but this could be something that you want, something that you desire, something that could be very, very satisfying. I'm not seeing a lot of like the scary images that are typically conjured up with this card. I'm seeing something that in a way could be very satisfying because of this anchorage over here. It could indicate that what you could attract towards you, Scorpio, is someone who really needs that. They need the stability, they need the anchorage, and you can start to really enjoy resonating as an anchor where you have a really, really rock solid relationship like this, a sense of grounding and stability and sovereignty, where it can be very, very, let's say, deliciously satisfying in a way that very few people ever have a chance to indulge. And you can actually enjoy that for what it is. Some people might think it means like, oh, you're getting stuck with another, or watch out, Scorpio, because that might turn you on to be this person of integrity for another. But it could also put you in a situation that could be binding, where the other needs you. And that's fine, so long as you're comfortable and you like to be needed. In other words, you might really, really enjoy the whole idea of a very deep, close potentially very intimate relationship that other people might think of as like, well, there's something, a little out of whack here, Scorpio. You're dealing with someone who's in some ways a little unstable and maybe, you know, not operating at 100% truth and honesty with themselves. But in some ways, it's like you don't care because you are actually enjoying being who you are because you're getting a chance to rise up and like almost like show off here. And that could be, I don't know, maybe that could be very satisfying for you. So I don't see you as being scared of this. I think it could create a very, very tight bond between yourself and a potential other in ways that it's almost like you own each other. Now, some people require and need that degree of intimacy. Like they need to know that they are owned, but it can also might feel a little bit suffocating at times for both parties in case somebody wants to, roam around for a while and just be themselves for a while. So, which could be the temptation here, because obviously they'd like to, if they could. And same here, you'd like to share yourself with anybody and everyone that you could as well. However, it looks like you have a potentially very binding relationship here that's potentially very solid and built for the long term. Okay? I'm not going to call out like a marriage thing here, but you could see a kind of marriage type of dynamic which is very tightly knit, okay? But it could also be very deliciously and intimately and passionately satisfying at the same time in a way that very, very few people would ever enjoy or even allow themselves to enjoy. So lucky you, Scorpio. I'm just going to put this aside. You know the drill. Watch for your sun, moon, and rising. Reinterpret, squish it around however you want that works for you. Okay, it's your reading for you, Scorpio. So make the best of this. Keep your eyes open. See what's out there. See what you're attracting. And remember, because we're allowing for the laws of attraction here, okay? So there you go. Stop, start, pause as needed. I'll put this kind of over here. Hopefully you can read all of that. Anyway, you get the gist of it. Thanks. Bye, Scorpio.